saw in Dr. Wood someone who could have a transformational impact on our entire campus. So over those past 13 months, we've seen so much positive change despite huge challenges of a pandemic, National Athletics Conference realignment, multiple construction projects, and numerous staff changes. And through Dr. Wood's relentless commitment to excellence, we've already seen great progress and more in the works. We have seen his mantra of culture, class, and competitive excellence align with our special Louisiana Tech culture. And he's inspired all of us to strive for excellence in all that we do. Just 1 week ago, 1 week and 1 day ago, we made the decision to take our football program in a different direction. And we knew that we had to move swiftly to hire the new head coach for our Bulldogs, one who could show the same promise and positive impacts of Dr. Woods. And thanks to the thorough and aggressive efforts of Dr. Wood, Mr. Steve Davison, and others on our search team, we achieved our goals. We're thrilled to have Sonny Cumbie as our new coach. He's an exceptional young coach who impressed us with his intelligence, his depth of understanding, and his focus on the game. His ability to recruit promising student athletes and maximize their talents will take our Louisiana Tech Bulldog program to the higher level of competitiveness. So I look forward to seeing Sonny be the next in a long line of great Louisiana Tech coaches, and I know that he and his family will be a great addition to our Louisiana Tech family. And so now I'll turn the program over to our Vice President and Director of Athletics, Dr. Eric Wood.
Well, good afternoon. It's good to see a full house here today. Thank you, Dr. Geis. Couldn't have asked for a better president to serve under and serve with as the national landscape in college athletics continues to experience these seismic shifts as it relates to conference realignment, the amount of head coaches in the coaching carousel moving around as you all have been following as you score at home. Nobody else I'd rather lock arms with Louisiana Tech at the forefront. So thank you for your leadership. Also want to thank Mayor Walker and Kay. Always good to see you at all of our events supporting, whether it's a head coach introduction or soccer game. Thank you for being there as we opened up our facility and all of the other significant events for Louisiana Tech. Join me in welcoming Ronnie and Ms. Kay. I want to thank Skip Holtz. I want to thank the entire Holtz family, Ms. Jen and Haley and Trey and Chad. It's not a one-man show when you run a football program. It's an entire and family investment. I want to thank the assistant coaches and their families, specifically Joe Sloan, who took the call immediately when I asked him to serve as an interim while we pursued our new head coach. So thank you to Coach Sloan and his family and all of the support staff, strength coaches, ops, recruiting, video, all of the folks, the managers and students. I want to thank them for their service to Louisiana Tech. I want to thank our band and spirit as well. How about another round of applause for the Band of Pride, our spirit squads. Champ is here, Tech 22, Techie's here. Thank you for all of your support. I want to thank my campus colleagues, our campus colleagues, corporate partners, our community neighbors, our alums, our new T Club members, our foundation board, our season ticket holders, our LTAC donors, our campus colleagues and deans and faculty who serve on Athletics Council, We have a number of our coaches here representing all of the sports in our athletics department. I want to thank students, the general student body, for their support throughout the year. I want to thank the student athletes that are here. I see a few of you out there. Thank you for the student athletes being here, current and former. I want to thank our athletics department staff. Be honest with you, I have no idea what's been going on in the athletics department over the last week, but I trusted our senior and executive leadership teams and everybody else, from Mr. Billy, making sure the facility continues to run, and everybody just stepped up while I've been out, along with our search committee to hire the best coach possible. I want to thank our search committee consultant, search committee, and including Bob Bodine, President and CEO of Eastman and Bodine Executive Search. I want to thank our media for your commitment and your coverage of Louisiana Tech athletics. And I know when you do this, you risk missing someone. So if I've missed you and you're in this room or you're watching online, we thank you. We thank you for your support of Louisiana Tech athletics. And with that, I say good afternoon. So good afternoon. And more importantly, how about them dogs? Let's go. How about them dogs? It's a great day to be a Bulldog. It's a great day to be a Bulldog. As Dr. Geis mentioned, the mantra has been and will continue to be culture, class, and competitive excellence. We will not deviate. Culture related to the environment where people want to thrive, where they can thrive. Student athletes, staff, coaches, everybody associated with our department. Class, where we expect our coaches to act with professionalism, exhibit professionalism, and our student athletes to exhibit sportsmanship. And competitive excellence, on and off the field. But whenever they're keeping score or there's a ranking, we want to compete. Culture, class, competitive excellence. Sonny Cumbie exemplifies all of these. Our football student athletes and all of you will get an opportunity to know Sonny and see what we saw during the interview process. So when we started this process, the goal was to identify a leader of young men who also coaches football at a high level. But the goal was to hire a leader of young men, one who would hire other leaders of young men to serve as assistant coaches and support staff, who embody the tenets of Tech, who would develop our football student athletes holistically as they compete in the classroom, compete to grow as leaders and be better versions of themselves, and compete for championships. I've heard so much in the last year, 13 months, about the history of high-scoring offenses and hard-hitting defenses. Our fan base wants an exciting brand of football. We want to build upon the success we've had over the past decade. We want to win conference championships. Sonny will bring all of that back to Ruston. How about that? Sonny comes to Tech as the offensive coordinator for Texas Tech, the other Tech. He comes to Tech as the offensive coordinator for Texas Tech, including serving as the interim head coach over the final 5 weeks. Played 4 games, had a bye in that time span, but over the final 5 weeks. In fact, he was thrust into the position 4 days before going to face Oklahoma. And he's thriving. He served as a quarterback coach and subsequently the offensive coordinator at TCU over 7 seasons, where he had an immediate impact as the program broke Big 12 record with a 21 points per game improvement and ranked number 2 in scoring and number 5 in total offense. During his first stint with Texas Tech, Texas Tech threw for more than 4,000 yards each of the 4 years while averaging more than 35 points per game. And then personally, as a former walk-on at Texas Tech, he grinded it out. He earned the starting quarterback spot his senior year, led the country in passing and total offense with 32 touchdowns. Blue-collar mentality. He ended up as an All-Big 12 performer and first-team All-Big 12 academic All-American as well. So those are a few nuggets of what he's accomplished as a student athlete and coach. But every person, Steve and I were texting this morning, and a number of you have texted as you learned from friends that live in Dallas, Fort Worth area, Texas Tech alums. Every person that's reached out to me since they've learned of the hire has used characteristics like innovative, passionate, sincerity, leadership, and an ultimate motivator. The list goes on. Text after text, call after call about Sonny Cumbie. We're thrilled to have the Cumbie family here as Bulldogs, his wife Tamara, his boys Gray and Hayes. We gave them 2 footballs when they got off the plane, and they've been going nuts with it. We're also thrilled to have his in-laws, Miss Bobby and Mr. Larry. Thank you for being here. They'll become members of the Ruston community as well, so they'll be joining us. But here's the deal. It's time to take this thing to another level. We need all of you. We need all of you on board. I've been preaching all year. We need to buy season tickets. We need to become LTAG members. We need to be ambassadors of the university and the program, regardless of the opponent that we play, week in, week out. It's time to go to another level. We want to be the most sought-after Group of 5 school in the country, and we need everybody in this room on board. Let me say that again. Every decision will be focused on our student athletes to graduate, win championships, and we want to be the most sought-after Group of 5 school in the country. Okay? It's time to hear from the man himself, and with that, I invite you to join me as we welcome the 34th head football coach of the Bulldogs, Coach Sonny Cumbie.
I appreciate that, Dr. Wood. Appreciate that introduction. It gets better and better as you get older. Throw for more and more yards, beat better and better people, and as you get older, you continue to, your accolades seem to grow. And so, it's kind of like coming up here and my 5-year-old, my 8-year-old are here, and if you've ever had kids, and you've ever had to say the prayer at a family family Thanksgiving or family Christmas, and you got little kids, you know to be pretty brief with it because they don't have much patience for it. But no, I'm just incredibly honored. My family is incredibly honored to be here today, to be part of the Louisiana Tech football family, and I really want to thank Dr. Geis. I want to thank his leadership. I want to thank his commitment to football, his commitment to giving me this opportunity. I want to thank Dr. Eric Wood for his commitment and leadership to this athletic program, Steve Davison and the Davison family for everything that they've done for this university, and then also through this process. What it really does is it says it's a tremendous dedication and commitment to this program and the success that it has had and that we will have. And I also want to thank Mary Kate for being in on these interview processes and being able to ask questions and to listen. And just to be a part of this whole process has just been tremendous. And I wanted to start off with that. The next thing I wanted to talk about is just family. My family is very important to me. My family is, I got the best coaches' wives. They're like, you got to write a book on being a coach's wife. I mean, it's so challenging. And I hope that it's so rewarding for my wife in terms of the relationships that she gets to encounter with our young student athletes and the paths that are crossed throughout this profession. I wanted to thank her. We've been married since 2005, and we've been married since then, and that helps me because it's 2021, And then I go 2021 minus 2005, and so I know it's 16 years that we've been married. And so that helps me with my math. Yeah. We've been together longer than that. We've been together longer than half of our lives in terms of dating. And so I can't say enough things about her. And she knows why I'm not looking at her, because I'll just start bawling like a little baby if I start looking at her. And I've told her that. So just incredibly honored to have a loving, selfless, really servant wife that has helped through this process. So and my two boys, I think 8 is Gray here, and 5 is Hayes, and on the floor coloring, which is a good place for them right now. They both, they both wanted me to mention that they were a big flag football season this year for them. So the 8-year-old they won 4 games at the end of the season. They got on a hot streak. At the end, finished the season well, and then of course Hayes, the 5-year-old team. I mean, you can't tell them anything. They're undefeated. They won the Super Bowl. So I wanted you to know you got a Super Bowl champ sitting here too. So. Yeah. And then my mother-in-law and father-in-law, Bobby Anderson and Larry Anderson, just tremendous supporters of our family and of everywhere we go and everywhere we be, where they will be there. My parents, Gwen and Bobby Jack Cumbie, they live in Gorman, Texas. Tremendous supporters for us, and the work ethic and a lot of the passion that I have for what I do is where I've gotten that from, and just so appreciative of all my family back home, my grandparents, uncles, and they're just really excited, and I think we got a lot of new Louisiana Tech Bulldog fans with this transition. So you'll have some people coming to the games, from Texas and supporting this program. And so just really excited about that. The next thing that I would like to talk about is throughout this profession, it's funny because the coaching world it's just like a business world. It's just like, when players talk to other players, coaches talk to other coaches. And this profession is so tightly knit. It's a unique profession. It's a great profession. It's very challenging. But there are men that you come across in your life, whether it's assistant coaches, whether it's head coaches, that really mold you. And I've always subscribed to the fact of I want to coach people how I would want to be coached. I want to talk to people how I would want to be talked to. And when Dr. Wood was talking about being a walk-on, is it really helped me doing that, because I was the 5th string walk-on that really nobody paid attention to. Nobody talked too much. And then 4 years later, when you're the starting quarterback, that all gets flipped. And what that really taught me, though, is a lot of humility, and it really taught me how to care for people, and it really taught me how to treat people. And you don't treat anyone from the standpoint of, hey, what can they provide you? You treat them with trust, love, and respect, because they're human beings and they're part of your program. I've had the opportunity to work for and play for a lot of great coaches. Mike Leach, I guess I recruited him as much as he recruited me since I walked on, but took a tremendous amount of time as a head coach in me, taught me a lot about football, allowed me to have my first graduate assistant opportunity. I will tell you, this is my 3rd head coaching job. So the first one is a little known fact, is I was the indoor football league head coach for the San Angelo Stampede Express a long time ago. So it was if you guys. About week 4, and I can't do this because they don't allow this in the NCAA, and nor would I want to anymore. But about week 4, our quarterback, he was struggling. He was a backup quarterback, wasn't doing very good. So I brought him in the office and said, son, listen, the organization's going a different direction. He said, what do you mean, coach? I said, well, we're going to bring in somebody else. He said, well, who are you going to bring in? You're looking at him. so I ended up being the head coach, offensive coordinator, quarterback for about 5 weeks, 6 weeks in the indoor football league. And it's one of those things that was a great opportunity because you wore so many hats. You wore so many hats, and you're able to do so many different things. And the best way to learn is to do. And I was able to learn a lot just about recruiting people, managing schedules and rosters. And, the thing about it was so interesting is those players, you're recruiting them for $200 a week and maybe a $50 win bonus if you win. And so you try to go out and hustle. I'm going out to all these different companies, and I'm saying, hey, I'm trying to get these jobs for my players. That's part of the recruiting pitch, is you want to get them a job, and you can play. And so we're going to practice at night. All you guys are going to have a job during the day. And so we go out, we hustle up all these jobs, and the guys get there, and none of them worked. And it was the dangest thing I ever saw. But I think what they really meant on that is I want to get a job where somebody, pays me, and I don't do anything. And we know that doesn't work. Yeah. So we all would want that. But that was a great experience in my life. as far as being in San Angelo and being the head coach there. And then Mike Leach took an opportunity to let me be the graduate assistant on offense and work with him. I was able to transition with Tommy Tuberville and his staff and be around a lot of great men and be around a lot of great coaches. And that's where, in my life and my coaching career, Neil Brown came to Texas Tech as an offensive coordinator. And very innovative, very detailed, very organized, and really a great leader, and really took me under his wing and taught me how to be a football coach, not to just be an offensive coach or a quarterback coach. And I owe a tremendous amount of my success and how I organize and structure things to Neil Brown, a great friend of mine and a great mentor in this business and a very, very, very good football coach. And then from there, Coach Kingsbury, Cliff Kingsbury, he was the senior starting quarterback when I was the walk-on. And so every offseason, I was just like, if I could just, running wasn't my thing. And so that's why I went to walk on in that offense, because you didn't have to run. All you had to do is throw the ball. And so I could do that pretty decent. And so in the offseason, whenever I would condition the starting quarterback, that's what I wanted to be. And so I just knew if I just stayed within a stride of Cliff, it was a stride of Cliff, I was getting better and better. And throughout the course of 3 years, I finally got within like 3 yards of him. And so I got better. And he taught me a lot about football as a player and as a coach, a lot about how to study, the creative mind that he has for football. And just to be on his staff and to learn from him was just a great experience, and still consider one of my top friends in the coaching business. And I owe a lot to Coach, or I just call him Cliff. I owe to Coach Cliff. So I'm very appreciative of him. You know, from there, I had the opportunity to go to Texas Christian University, to go to TCU for 7 years. So in that time span, Gary Patterson took a chance on a kid from Snyder, from Lubbock, Texas, and I'm very, very, very grateful for my 7 years at working at TCU with Coach Gary Patterson, probably one of the all-time Hall of Fame coaches. And he was great at growing his players up, and even better at growing his coaches up. And to be able to sit in those staff meetings for 7 years and to learn and listen to the wisdom that he shared with us has had a great impact on how I've carried myself and how I see this program being ran. Just because he was the thing about Gary Patterson is he was consistent every single day. Every single day, you never doubted his passion or his commitment to his players and to his coach and to his university. And so for that, I'm very grateful for Gary Patterson and for the opportunity that he took on me, and he stood by me and allowed me to really grow as a coach, as an offensive coordinator, and has really prepared me for this move. And then for Matt Wells for taking a chance, bringing me back to Lubbock and allowing me to do that. And just a ton of respect for Coach Wells and how he organizes and how he relates to people, and giving me the opportunity to come to Lubbock, a place that, you know, I played at. And so I have a great understanding of what it means to work for your alumni and work for where you went to school. And Kirby Hocutt, the athletic director at Texas Tech, has been a great leader there and a great leader for me individually. And so we're all formed by these relationships that we've made. There's so many high school coaches that have formed my career. And that's really why I coach, is because one day a high school coach in my career took the time to make things fun. He took the time to make things interesting enough for a kid that wanted to continue to play football and to wanted to coach. And so that's really how I model a lot of my philosophy in coaching is how I coach is how I'd want to be coached. And so just really grateful for those people in my life and the opportunities to work with them. And that takes me into the staff that I want to put together here at Louisiana Tech football. Louisiana Tech University is a group of people that have a lot of passion for people, have a lot of passion for their players. The X's and O's, yes, is very important. Obviously, recruiting-wise, our home base is going to be the state of Louisiana. This is a great state. This location, Louisiana Tech, is unbelievable. You don't have to get an airplane. All you've got to do is just get in a car and drive around, and you're going to find a lot of great football players that have had a lot of great success at this school. It's been proven. And it's been proven by Coach Skip Holtz and his staff. They did a great job. I have a ton of respect for Coach Skip Holtz. We competed against him at TCU 2 years ago, and his staff, they've done a great job. And I want to continue. I want to build off of what people before me have done, and just appreciative for this opportunity to do this and be able to recruit this state. It's so talented. We've had a lot of opportunities to do that whenever I was previously, the previous stops that I had, and we will recruit Louisiana. We'll go into East Texas. I know Dallas, Houston, and Shreveport. Those are the 3 locations where the most Louisiana Tech alumni reside. And so we want to try to use that as well, because this brand is a very big brand, and it sells because of the people that are here. And the thing that I want to share with you is offensively, we want to be explosive, and we want to be a physical group. We want to push the ball up and down the field, but also one of the things that you always have to watch is running backs, and and the tight ends are like, oh, this guy's going to throw it all over the field. And now, well, that's not the case. We were number 1 in the country in offense over plays over 50 yards and explosive plays over 40 yards, and a big part of them was our running game. And so we're going to be an offense that's going to be multiple. We're going to make the most out of our personnel, and I think we're going to give the guys that are playmakers, make it easy for them, get on the ball, and let them go make plays. And so we have a lot of those guys here already, and we're going to continue to build our roster primarily through the high school ranks. But I also know that with the transfer portal, we'll be active in that as well. And you have to be very selective in that. And usually it always, just like coaching, you always come back to a connection of someone that you may know in terms of a coach or an assistant that maybe have dealt with a young man. So in terms of our staff, offensively, defensively, I just talked to Tyler Grubbs a moment ago, and I told him the one thing that I want when people watch Louisiana Tech play, I want them to see people flying around, hitting people, physical and tenacious, and I want them to play with a lot of passion. And when they watch film, when our opponents watch film, I want them to have the thought of, wow, we got to go against these guys next week. I want us to be very physical on defense. I want us to have guys that are able to make plays in the secondary, and we do that with our coaching staff and then also through recruiting. And then special teams, we're going to put a lot of emphasis on special teams, not just in word, but also in how we allocate that in our coaching staff, how we allocate who's on special teams and who does what, because I think special teams is a great advantage if you use it. And players, the thing about football players and the guys that are sitting in this room, and I really appreciate all the guys, the players, and the support staff that are here, because players are very, very smart. Their GPA here is 2.7. That's good. We want to get it higher, but players are very smart. And the thing about players is they understand whether you're committed, whether you're both feet in or not. And that's what I want our players to sense every single day, is the passion that we coach with and the passion that we lead with. And every single day that we have interaction with them, we're going to guide them with everything that we got. So I'm looking forward to working with all these players, the support staff, the coaches that have been here. I'm extremely excited. The hospitality that my family has received since we've set foot in Ruston and at Louisiana Tech University has been second to none. It's been great. Our family's been taken care of very, very well. The thing I know about athletics is you look around the landscape and there's a lot of transition everywhere. When I talk to people on this campus, I talk to Mary Kay and I ask her how long she's been here. And I talk to other people on campus and they talk about how long they've been here. They grew up in Ruston, or they went to school at Louisiana Tech, and they've stayed here. And that's a sign of it's a great place. Because when people stay here and people invest their time and they continue to pour into this community, it's a sign of a place that's committed to being successful in the classroom, committed to being successful on the playing fields and the ball courts that we all represent. And that is what excites me, it excites my family about being here, is the commitment that people have to Louisiana Tech University. And everyone that we hire on our staff is going to represent this school in a first-class way. It's going to represent this school throughout the course of this state in a way that you guys would be proud of, in a way that you guys would want to be represented. And then really in closing, when you talk about the vision that you have for this team and the vision for where this program is going, there have been a ton of great players and a ton of great coaches that have come through Louisiana Tech University, and we want to continue to take it to the next level. We want to continue to do that. And you ask, how do you do that? And my biggest answer is you just pour into these players. And you pour into these players with everything that you have every single day. And some days are going to be a challenge, and some days are going to be very demanding. And then other days, it's going to be a little bit more celebratory. But I ask that all of the businessmen and women in this room, all the alumni and lettermen in this room, to just support our players. Because as I get to know them, I can see why we are going to have a chance to be very, very successful, because they're great young men. And then I just ask that you would come and support them. And ultimately, coaching is, I tell our players all the time, we get our energy from the players. We get our energy from the players, and they provide that to us. And I'm very excited to get to know the rest of this roster in a genuine way, and to be able to relate to them, and to be able to coach them, and to be able to guide them. This is a great opportunity. I'm very, very fortunate that the leadership of this great school has entrusted me to lead these young men and to lead these coaches, and just very excited to get down and to work with them. And the last thing that I'll share with you is I know I'm getting a little long-winded when the kids start fooling around over here, but it's kind of like the Dr. Seuss book, like, oh, the places you'll go. And I know we've all read that at some point. And I say that because what a game that we are able to play and coach, college football. As a kid growing up in Snyder, Texas, with 10,000 people, I never imagined that football would take me to play in the Arena Football League in Los Angeles, California. I never knew it would take me to be the head coach interim head coach at Texas Tech as an offensive coordinator there. You never know where this game's going to take you. You never know the people that it allows you to cross paths with. And I never knew and never thought that I would be able to have my first head coaching opportunity at Louisiana Tech University. And I'm just so excited, and I'm just so grateful. And this game is a tremendous game. And that is my goal for these players, is for them to understand that at the end of the day, this is a game. This is a game that you play when you're 8 and 5 out in the park playing flag football. That's why you start it. And that's what I want to remind them every day, is that there is a love for this game. There is a love for football. And ultimately, we coach because we have a love for people, and we want to see young people succeed. And I'm so grateful and so thankful to be the next head coach at Louisiana Tech University. And in the words of my good friend, Dr. Eric Wood, how about them dogs? Thank you.
All right, we're going to let him stay up here in the media if you have a question. I don't have a wireless mic, so I apologize, so just talk loud. This could be short.
Yeah.
Can you take us through these last couple of days of the first time you got to call from Louisiana Tech to kind of just landing here and first impressions?
Yeah, well, I tell you that the process goes pretty quickly. I do know that. So obviously, the first time I was contacted about this job and the interest, it was a no-brainer for me. I had a ton of interest. There's things that you're interested in, and there's things that are interesting. And I was very interested in this, and I wanted to be here. And then after conversations with Dr. Geis, with Dr. Wood, with Steve Davison, with Mary Kay, I knew that this was going to be a great fit. And I think that's one of the things that I've learned from other coaching mentors is there's a lot of opportunities that we've turned down in the past, but this was a fit. And I think that's very, very important, that when people, when you decide on what your move will be, is it a fit? Does it fit you? And in this place, the hospitality, the facilities here are incredible. It's a great place to play a football game. It's a great place to recruit kids to. And like I said, the hospitality here at Louisiana Tech has just been tremendous for me and my family. And it's been great.
When it comes to mentorship, we talked a lot about coaches that have mentored you and that kind of led you along. What are some ways you like to do that for your players, and how does that kind of affect them? Like you said, give you energy and kind of keep you moving as that season comes.
I think just sometimes you have to listen. That's the most important thing, is you have to listen and pay attention, and you have to get to know your players well enough to know all right, do they have good body language today? Do they have bad body language today? What's going on? And I think that's the number one thing, is just the relationship with our players, and that takes time. And it doesn't happen today, it doesn't happen tomorrow, but it takes time and consistency. And those are the things that I think with young players and with this team that I want to show them, is that it's going to be a consistent effort. It's not just going to be here today. It's not going to be here tomorrow. It's going to be every single day that I want to show them. I think that's ultimately the best way that you can lead people, is to show. Because you can say a whole bunch of things, you can put a bunch of things on the wall, and you can write a bunch of things on a board, and those are great and those are good. But I think that you have to show them with your actions, and then at times if your actions fall short, then you have to own that as well. But I think showing people and building relationships through the course of time is the number one way.
Yeah.
7, 8 hungry for a conference championship. How do you get them over the hump?
Well, I think the first thing is to evaluate this roster, which I've been doing. I've been watching all the games and just seeing what are the missing pieces and how can we provide that, whether it's through recruiting or whether it's through just development. And continue to pour into these kids, and ultimately you've got to play well at quarterback, and that's kind of the name of the game on offense. Defensively, you've got to be, you've got to be really good in the red zone, and you've got to be able to create takeaways. And then I also do think that special teams can help you be a complete football team and I talk about it a lot, and these guys will hear it on 4 sides of the ball. The fourth side being the sideline, and in terms of our energy, in terms of the guys that may not have the biggest role on the field, the support that they give one another. And so getting over the hump, I think that to answer your question is we've got to make sure we have an offense that it has answers for what defenses are trying to do. Defensively, I want us to be really aggressive. I want us to have a great red zone defense, create takeaways, and ultimately have one of the things that I've learned through coaching is it's not what's best for the quarterback, it's not what's best for the offense, but what's best for your team to give yourself the best chance to win in those 12 Saturdays.
Take one more question.
Yep.
All right, we're good then.
He got it right here. Yep.
All right.
Coach, looking ahead, being your expertise being with quarterbacks, having 2 quarterbacks that have experience from last season, what are you looking forward to working with the 2 that you have?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to working with them and just get a better feel for what they can do, on the field. I've watched a lot of film on them and just kind of what are their strengths. And that's one of the things is as you get going through with a new quarterback or a new team is you want to throw a lot of things at them, but then you also want to see what they can handle and you want to see what they can do and what are they good at. If they're really good, you want to do what they're good at and try to stay away from what they're not. And then you also, what they're not, in spring ball and in fall camp and in the off season, you want to try to set up your off season and to set up your practices to try and develop those skills for what guys are not as strong at. Well, we got to get them better at it. And the time to get better at it is really right now, the spring and the summer, and then fall camp of the first 2 weeks, and then you kind of hone in on what you're going to be, as a football team. And so those are the things that I'm looking forward to doing. And before we wrap this thing up, the thing that I do want to make sure that everyone hears and knows is that alumni, former alumni, people who have played here, Letterman, I want you guys to understand that this is your school. And this is your program, and you have built this program, and I want you to know that you're very welcome here, and we want you guys here at practices. We want you guys around our offices, and I understand I was at a place for 7 years where the head coach stood there for 20 years, and so you saw the continuity of the Letterman, and they knew that this was their coach, and I understand that I'm not the coach that may have recruited these Lettermen or may have recruited these players, but you know what? This is your school. I'm a part of it, and I'm going to pour everything I have every single day into this place, but I want you to know that you're welcome, and we want our players to know. When you think about the rich history of players in this program, it's very, very, very impressive, and I want them to come around and be very involved with our players and our practices on a daily basis. Thank you.